what has helped me in both of those shifts is agility and adaptability. Also, the ability to ask for help, right? Because when you get into a new place, there are a lot of things that you don't know when you make those big moves and you make those big shifts. So you need to understand that it's okay not to know.
Welcome everyone to today's episode of the Growth Block podcast. And today I have a special guest. Her name is Foyin, and she will tell us more as we go. I met her in Dublin when we went for a conference, a Microsoft conference, and since then we've been chatting. And yeah, I've been following her work, what she's doing, quite amazing, and she'll tell us all about that today. So over to you, Foyin. Can you introduce yourself and just tell us what you do?
Yeah, thank you so much, Wilson, for having me as a guest on your show. I've been following your show since you started, or your podcast since you started, and it's been really insightful. The stories, experiences shared are totally worth listening to and very inspiring. So it's nice to be a guest on the other side of the spectrum now. So what do? I am a modern workplace solutions architect, and my focus is to help organizations drive digital transformation within their business, basically helping the knowledge worker, the information worker to do more with less, be more efficient, more productive. And now with the whole AI buzz, you have AI in that mix, also enabling the information worker to be more productive.
Nice. Yeah, and I guess it wasn't always like this. So how has your career been? Has your journey been to the point where you currently are as a modern workplace manager? And we'll talk more about that as we go along. Yeah, how has it been?
Yeah, my career has been an interesting one, and very grateful to God for how I've progressed and evolved over the years. I started out as an engineer, a SharePoint admin back in the day when SharePoint was on premise. And I know some people will probably not even be able to relate with that because they've always known SharePoint to be in the cloud. So back in the day, we would build the farm ourselves, set up the Windows Server infrastructure, do the Active Directory yourself, just basically put up all the base infrastructure and then your SQL and plug in your SharePoint into it. So that's kind of how I started as an analyst, learning from the more experienced professionals. In my first job straight out of school was into IT consulting. And within the number of years I spent with the firm, I kind of evolved a bit from being an engineer. I grew to become like a tech lead, and then started to wear the hat of a delivery lead, where it's not just I'm kind of ensuring that the team delivers on our commitments. So it's been a smooth one. So there for about 9 years, and then I moved to the bank in Nigeria, and I sat with the core infrastructure team, which was a kind of a bit of transitioning as well, because what I did was a bit of infrastructure, but also we had the portal and everything on it. But now sitting with the main infra team, I had to learn a lot of things which I wasn't very familiar with, which was fine. And then I started to move into the Power Platform, which was another world of transitioning, because I didn't start out as a pro developer. So I had a lot to learn around development, like software development, the skills, how do you develop a real application, a proper application, and trying to follow all those principles, even if it was low code. So very interesting. But I'll let you ask the questions to dig out more information from my experience.
Okay, let's stick with low code and no code. You had to transition. You weren't in the development phase, just like me as well, to be honest. Though I did a bit of pro dev earlier, but I left all of that for a while. For someone who wants to come into IT, into development, how do you think low code, no code, say the Power Platforms can enable that person to come into the IT world?
I think the Power Platform is a really great tool, and a lot of people know that I'm a big advocate for the Power Platform because it gives you an easy entry into the world of development. Like you can, and then you get to see your results very quickly without having to like compile a line of code, write for a while, compile before you kind of see the output of what you've been working on. So it's just like we always say, you know how to use PowerPoint? Yes. Do you know how to use Excel? Yes. Then I don't see any reason why you can't use Power Apps. So that's the advantage that the low code has brought to people who desire to come into software development, to become developers, but are not really there yet in terms of pro development. So the low code is kind of that middle layer where, regardless of what your background is, if you have the interest and the passion to learn, you're able to go off on your own, watch a couple of videos, go to Microsoft Learn, and then start to try out your hands on developing different type of applications on a test environment or a test tenant.
Okay. In terms of productivity, because I think that's what Microsoft is trying to do with all of this, right? Make it possible for people to do things faster, less effort, more results. Um, how has the Power Platform probably affected your own work, your own productivity, and your team's productivity? If you can put it, like, try to quantify it in any way. How has that helped you?
Well, I like to go by general statistics that says that the Power Platform reduces development time by about 75% by 70 to 75% decrease in development time. Speed to market is faster. And I saw that real time. Quick example was when I was back in the bank, and no offense to the pro developers, but they usually have a lot of work on their table. And when the users come with something that seems a bit simple or not necessarily what is key or critical at the moment, it has to sit on the back burner. But what the low code then did was it enabled us to quickly develop those applications, because truth be told, the applications are so simple that you really don't need a pro developer sitting on them. Their time is more valuable dealing with more complex applications. And then the whole fusion development comes in where, okay, there's some part of the application that requires developing an API, calling an API, some custom connectors, then you can start to leverage the pro code developers to do that for you. So we saw that increase in the speed to market, where there was an initiative that the bank wanted to run. We needed to get done as quickly as possible. We could use the Power Platform to achieve it very quickly. So that was one of the key wins that we had back then. It was just the speed to market and the fact that you can scale it, where you can now develop a community within the workplace of people, of these super users, these champions who can develop these type of applications. And they don't necessarily always have to come back to IT to develop the simple applications that's just being used within their departments, within their business units. So that's really some of the key advantage that the Power Platform brings to us, or the local development generally.
Keeping things just a little bit technical, let's talk artificial intelligence. Um, because I think it's artificial intelligence is also unveiling that speed to market even faster. It's making it faster. Um, what are your thoughts about AI and the future of work and the modern workplace?
So let me say thoughts about AI. always like, look, we're all learning AI, right? It's ever
Yeah.
changing, ever evolving, right? At Avanade, I was privileged to be one of the part of the first cohorts to use the to use Copilot, Microsoft 365 Copilot.
Yeah.
And when it was rolled out, I was part of the first people to get Microsoft 365 Copilot. And what the kind of things it could do now, it couldn't do then. So
Yeah.
a phrase that Microsoft uses a lot, which I will quote, is the version of Copilot you have today will be the worst it will ever be, which means that it gets better and better and better and better and continuously better. So we're saying that the speed at which AI tools, Microsoft Copilot, all of the Copilots, the speed at which it's evolving is simply tremendous, and the benefits are unbelievable, right? Like, I really enjoy using the Microsoft 365 Copilots, especially the Copilots in the Copilot that is in Teams, because you can do a lot. It helps you a lot. Like, I'm usually someone that likes to take notes when I'm in meetings. What then happens is, because I'm taking notes and I'm listening, I miss out on some things while I'm writing. But with the turning on the Copilot, that helps me to like pay attention 100%, because I know I can always generate my meeting notes from Copilot. So I can just say, give me the meeting notes. What are the summary of the meeting? What are the key actions? What actions are for me from this meeting? So I find that extremely useful, and it's something that I use all the time, as often as I can. And as often as the policy allows me to, because it just makes my work very easy. So the future of AI is going to be unbelievable, because I'm sure when we look back 12, 24 months, we probably did not imagine that we'll be where we are now, and it will keep getting better. But one key thing to say is, because I know that there's this this unsaid fear or pink elephant in the room, that a lot of people feel that, AI is going to replace me. Well, we make a joke and say AI is not going to replace you. It's the person that is using AI that will replace you. That's on a lighter note. But like, Microsoft products have called it the co-pilots, because the plan is not for it to become the pilots. The plan is for it to support you. You're the pilot, but it's just help you with those tactical things, those mundane tasks that take a lot of your time, and free out some of your time to focus on the more important things that you need to do, right? So so it's an interesting journey, and it's great to be a part of it, and to see how all of these tools are evolving us and evolving the way we work and evolving our skill sets as well. Yeah, now we're all talking about prompt engineering and the importance of knowing how to write the right prompts, because the right prompts would give you the right results. And it kind of takes us back to those days when we started learning how to use Google search. And I'll I'll put in my Google search, and I'll be on page 12 and I've still not found what I want. And then a friend just comes in and on page 1, I'm like, how did you do that? But as we got to use it the more, we started to learn how to properly search and find things on the first page, or even the first top results, rather than having to go into page 2 and page 3. So I think that skill set is something that we all need to learn as we start to interact more with these Gen AI tools, in order to help it to do what we need it to do for us.
Nice.
I'll stop here, because I can go on and on about.
I know, right? No, it's amazing. In fact, this week I've been in this AI Academy with Copilot, actually, just learning all the intricacies around it, and how, it's really going to improve our productivity. So I do encourage everyone as well to take that route. Just finally on this, the responsibility dimension of AI, what will you advise?
Yes, I'm big on responsible AI, because I think that just because you can doesn't mean you should. And it's important that every organization defines those guardrails. And they put in place the guidelines of the use of AI. For example, at Avanade, we have our policies, we have our responsible AI, but we all had to go through some courses which included responsible AI in order to become, yes, I'm AI ready. I'm ready to start using this tool. So those type of initiatives are important things that organizations need to do ahead, educating the employees around the various principles of the use of AI. And you'll see as you start to use tools like Microsoft's Copilot in Word, in Teams, you'll see that it comes up with that little note that says this is an AI generated content. So that's part of the principles of AI. Help that transparency and that trust, helping the users to know that this is AI content and it may not be accurate. So it's always important to have that human element wrapped around it, where there's somebody that can get that content and still read through it. Like, because Copilot for Word can write you a 5-page proposal doesn't mean that you shouldn't read through it to make sure that the content is accurate. So all of these things speak to the part of responsible AI, using AI responsibly to ensure your safety and the safety of your organization as well.
Okay. Oh, good. Thank you for educating us on artificial intelligence. Now let's look at other aspects of transitioning, right? When people have to move probably from one sector to the other, from one job to the other, I feel there are certain mindsets, certain skills they require to do that. From your experience, what are some of those skills, some of those mindsets people need to have when they start off thinking about transitioning or transitioning to help them settle in properly?
Yeah. So I think two of my big transitions in my career was moving from the initial IT consulting firm I worked to the bank. Right, it was a big step because in the IT consulting firm I worked, we were like one big family. It was not a very large organization, and we're closely knitted. Like, we knew each other, we knew each other's spouses, we knew each other's children, we're in each other's houses for the birthdays. Was that kind of, and then moving from there to an 8,000 plus org was a big shift. But I think what helps me, and I think so that's the first big shift. And the next big shift was moving from the bank to Avanade, where I am now, because that involved a lot. Involved moving countries, involved moving from just a national org to a multinational as well. So those were two big shifts. And I think what has helped me in both of those shifts is agility and adaptability. Also, the ability to ask for help. Right, because when you get into a new place, there are a lot of things that you don't know when you make those big moves and you make those big shifts. So you need to understand that it's okay not to know, right? Some people, when they make the shifts, they like to live in the denial, or maybe they feel that it makes them less of themselves to say that I don't know this. But I have a funny quote. I say, I can only be a fool once. Right? If I don't know something and I ask you, that's the only time that I'll ever be a fool in that aspect. Because once you tell me, I know it, and then that I don't need to ask you anymore. So having that, making yourself vulnerable to the people around you, to your new team, to your new boss, to your new colleagues about what it is that you don't know, would help you settle in quickly. Like, what you're not sure of. Now, we're not necessarily talking about technical skills, because the technical skills that you've always had, you can kind of transfer it if you're moving in the same field. You understand? If you're a Power Platform developer, you're transitioning into becoming a Power Platform, you may have, like, you still have the core skills. We're talking around the ways of working, right? It may be different from where you're coming from, the kind of things you need to do, operations, even just understanding your stakeholders, understanding how a metrics organization works, understanding all of those things, how even as simple as how your time is recorded. So all of those things are very important. So when you're in the process of transitioning, whether from one technology to another, one sector to another, one type of organization, maybe a hierarchical organization to a metrics organization, from a small SMB firm to a larger org, from a national org to a multinational org, one of the things that is important is asking the questions, right? Being vulnerable and being adaptable, understanding that because you did it that way in your former org doesn't mean that that's the way it's going to work in this organization. So I think those are the main skills: being adaptable, like asking the questions, being vulnerable, being adaptable to your new environment. Once you understand this is how it works, then being able to evolve into that new way will really help you to settle in quickly into your new phase.
Okay. I like the part of asking for help, because I think that's where a lot of people, just like you said, and we deal with these things sometimes, but you just need to grow beyond it. The fact that you don't know now doesn't mean you will not know tomorrow. And you need to be confident enough to just let people know that, oh, I don't know this, but how can I do this? How can I, get that done? How about collaboration? How about collaboration? And maybe if you can
Yeah.
just touch a little bit around collaboration when it comes to switching, because beyond asking questions, I think some people also want to be on top from the very first day, right? You want to show that I am confident, I can do it by myself, right? And that's in a bit to just show that I'm a superpower, right? But how important is collaboration when you're transitioning? Not just asking questions, but collaborating with people while transitioning.
Yeah, collaboration is extremely important, and because you need to know that you cannot, well, you're not an island, right? So the same way we say you're not an island in like having relationships and all that, it's the same way it is in the workplace. You can't do it on your own, and the more you start to work in, even in your tech field, the more you discover that you need other people to help and to support you. So collaboration is really, really key. It's key, and it's not about my success. If you're successful, but your team is not successful, or you're all working on a project together and your 5 tasks are delivered, but the other 10 or the other 15 that belong to the entire team is not delivered, then the whole team has failed. So it's having that understanding that we succeed together and you don't succeed as one. We help you collaborate more. And I think for me, it's about helping other people succeed, because when you do, you're also successful. So it's not a one-man show. And I think I've kind of always known that for right from the beginning, that you can't do it on your own, and you need to help other people to be successful. And when you do that, you would also be successful yourself. And then the whole team can be successful. So it's not about you. It's not a me thing. It's a team thing. And I think the Avanade culture also helps to drive this home a lot. Um, it's not about me, and you're constantly in need of help anyway, because there are just so many
Yeah.
things to know. We're talking about AI now. We're talking about the speed of the evolution of AI. There's so much. You're doing the Power Platform. There's AI in Power Apps, AI in Power Automate. There's a Copilot Studio. There's
Yeah.
just so much going on that I don't think there's anyone now that thinks I can do it on my own. You need that support from other people, because you can never be the expert in everything. So there are always times when I'm faced with something and I need an expert in that area. So I need to reach out, say, oh, I'm having this issue, I have this request. Has anybody ever worked on this before? So I think it's just the reality of our times. And you need to collaborate, you need to learn how to work with people, and you also need to learn how to deal with differences of opinion on on anything, because like we say, it might be a 6 and we're looking at it from different angles. Someone is saying a 9 and another person is saying a 6. So understanding that it's okay for people not to agree with you, but that doesn't mean that that person is not a great collaborator. But you can still, with your differences, come together and to achieve the goal of the team.
Good. Thank you for sharing insights on that. We're wrapping up towards the end. So let's talk about Power Addicts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm part of the group as well. So what is that all about, and why was it set up?
Power Addicts, and it's so great that you talked about collaboration, because I think our slogan is "We rise by lifting others," and that's really what the Power Addicts is about. So Power Addicts is all lovers of the Power Platform who are very enthusiastic about the Power Platform and about helping people to grow and learn the Power Platform tools. So I got introduced to Power Addicts way since I think 2019 by Donna, with a post on Twitter, or X as it's now called, introducing me and saying, "Oh, Foyin has started working with the Power Platform and all." And then I just got so many, like my Twitter was literally dead before that. But I got so many balls, so many prompts, and I just went to my phone. I was like, "What's going on?" That was how I started to know a lot of the Power Addicts members, across the world, and they were so supportive and very helpful, especially when I started out my journey with the Power Platform. The Power Platform community is an amazing one. Anyone that wants to learn how to use the Power Platform, you need to connect with the community, regardless of the location. Everyone I've met in the Power Platform community are simply amazing and always willing to help. So that's how I got to know the Power Addicts, and I started to join them. And of course, when you get, you want to pay forward as well. You want to help somebody else on their journey. So that's I won't start talking about community because that's another area I'm very passionate about.
Okay, and you also founded this community for girls to help them in tech. Do you want to just tell us about that? What was the
Yes,
inspiration as well?
TechStylers
Yeah.
was founded by myself and my good friend Jumoke. We usually call her MJ. And it was basically from the need, right? When we started community activities back then, we'll have speaking engagements, and we'll just see men on the ads, on the posters. We're like, where are all the women? Or just maybe myself and her. So we decided to start out TechStylers as a community focused on helping women develop their skills in technology. Now, we have a lot of women that are very extremely skilled, but they're just not out there. So the idea of the community was also to be a safe space where we could support and encourage women to become more out there, about what they know, to help them drive their confidence, be their cheerleaders. And it's amazing how we started in 2020 and we're still going on strong. We have amazing mentors. We have established women who are part of the community and are now helping and supporting other women along their journey based on their experiences. So TechStylers is really, really amazing, and it's a community that every woman in technology should be part of.
Lovely. And we'll share more details for those who are interested to connect with Foyin. I'm sure she's more than willing to welcome you
Yes.
into the fold.
Yes,
Okay.
please join us. And we also have some men. We have our male allies as well. So we're an inclusive community. We're focused on women, but we welcome the men as well. So we've had men join our tech deep dive sessions, join our inspirational sessions, and the feedback even from the men has been very good. And we also have men as our mentors. So
Nice.
everyone is, we're
Talk
focused
about
on women.
collaboration.
Collaboration, yeah. Collaboration. So if you don't mind being in a class full of women, you're welcome to join us.
Okay. Finally, any other thing you want our guests to know about you? Are you working on anything, or where can they catch you and take from your experience? Just hear you talk.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn as much as I my time permits me. If you have any questions about career growth, your thoughts on transitioning, I'm always happy to support, to give some advice or the other around career growth, career progression, trying to make decisions around what you think you should do next or what you should start doing. Yeah. So LinkedIn is really the place to find me. I may not respond immediately, but I will respond eventually. I'll put out the disclaimer now. I'm more than
Okay.
happy to help.
All right. Thank you so much for making our time to talk to us today. It's been a lovely session, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. Yeah, so to all our listeners, please listen and reach out to Foyin. She's more than happy to help. Yeah, so once again, thank you so much for being our guest for this episode. And yeah, I'll say take care for now and bye to all our listeners. See you in the next episode.
Yeah. Thank you so
Bye.
much for having me. Thank you, guys. Bye.